wait no longer. Greatness has arrived. Welcome to the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. I'm your host, Joseph, and it's usually on this very podcast we talk about the latest and greatest in PlayStation with my best friend Kyle, but Kyle couldn't make this episode, so I got the next best person, and that is Mr. Luke Lohr, the Insipid Ghost. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. I drove on over.
Yeah. So you're usually from the Xbox Drive, right? You've
Indeed,
made a few
it's true.
appearances here before, and we're good friends. Mm-hmm. Some would even call us lovers, but who knows? You know,
our love knows no bounds. Yeah. It is through the microphone that we found each other, and that we march forward into the future.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's almost gonna be like a year. Like I think May was our first like true interaction with each other, and just
was it really?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? It
feels like it was a lot longer.
I know, right? God, I'm such a piece of shit. I get it. But yeah, usually here we talk about the latest, greatest in PlayStation, and we got a lot to talk about, Luke.
We do.
We got a lot. We got THQ. We got Sean Layden says goodbye to Reggie Fils-Aimé. We got Fortnite's latest patch, latest update, latest battle pass. But before we get into all of that, Luke, what have you been playing this week?
If it wasn't Apex Legends with you, in which I totally carried you in every single match, it was absolutely some Anthem. I've been playing so much Anthem and Apex. It's been a great time.
Yeah. Dude, so Apex, we've been crushing it together. We're a really good team. Most of the time.
We are.
It's Antonio Guillen that just drags us down. Am I right? You know? But no,
oh, man.
So much
It's
fun.
been cool. Because we learned how to read each other's movements because that game's communication system is so good. And you can communicate without speaking, and that is a huge benefit to gaming, I feel.
Yeah, like I was playing Fortnite, I was trying to ping. I was like, oh, wait, we'll talk about it. It didn't have it at the time. And so I was just like, oh, wait, I can't actually tell anybody where I want to go because I can't do that. So you've been playing Anthem, and it's actually our first story of the week. We've both been playing it on separate platforms. How are you liking Anthem? Because, you know, the news this week, it's not selling that great. Apparently, the reviews have not been singing this game's praises. Coming off that really, really rocky demo, at least the VIP demo, what are your thoughts on Anthem? The good, the bad, the somewhere in between.
Oh, they are very divided, I would say, because with Anthem, I think much of the criticism that's getting laid to it from objective critics is absolutely apt. The loading screens get in the way of what I find to be truly enjoyable gameplay. The game gets away with very little in terms of communicating with its fans. It doesn't do much to discuss what's going on as far as menu management. It doesn't do a good job laying out what your next objective will be per mission.
I actually I got stuck at one portion because it said to complete a stronghold, and that's like
we got to the same spot.
Yeah, and then like I completed it, but I still had that quest up. I was like, is this a glitch? And you helped me out. It's actually like they just didn't explain it well.
Right. And that's a great barometer for what you're going to see with a great deal of Anthem, is that the gameplay is wonderful. I think it's a beautiful game. Taking down monsters and battling enemies is fun. I like the mission structure a lot. It's very simple, which I like. And I have a joy playing it, but it doesn't tell me what I need to do sometimes in a way that could be very easy. And there's a lot of menu navigation. So I think a lot of the critics that are kind of landing it with sixes, I think they're very accurate with that, but it's not gameplay that's the problem. The game itself is fun. Yeah.
It's so like I'm coming along the same lines. Like, you know, my tweets earlier this week were pretty damning, and it was frustrating. This game does get frustrating, and I saw a lot of people like defending the game simply because they enjoy it and they see past the flaws, but to a radical-ish degree, if I can even say that, to an extreme. For me, I think the gameplay super fun. Like I it's relaxing, just roaming around, just flying. I play as a storm javelin. I don't touch anything else. Storms is so badass. It's just so badass. So like I play as a storm javelin, just death from above, and it's so fun. But to me, yeah, like the game doesn't communicate to you at all. It seems like, it doesn't communicate. The story to me at this very point in time is very incoherent. There's just some things that I don't know what exactly is going on. I don't know why I should care about this world. And there could have been some just simple story devices put in place, maybe an extra cutscene here or there that could have bridged those gaps for me, but they just weren't there. Some of the acting as well, like you like Owen, I personally don't. And then the other thing, and I guess I'm just a whiny reviewer, but yeah, they don't teach you how combos work in this game.
I think, yeah, there are a number of little things like that it's just odd, and I think it speaks to kind of the conflict that you have BioWare, this supposed master storyteller of a studio, and then a looter shooter. That idea doesn't seem to match well with a single player narrative, and so you run into conflicts between those things, which is frustrating to be sure. But anybody that has played it and enjoyed the gameplay, if the gameplay is for you, I can see this 6 months from now looking very different and being more gameplay focused. I think there's a lot to enjoy in Anthem, and I certainly do. I just, bring a drink with me and my phone for Twitter whenever I hit a loading screen.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the most frustrating thing is the loading screens take some time, man. That's the thing that also kind of is taking me out of the experience, because to me, when I'm playing a game, like great example, God of War, when I start that game, I'm in it, right? And I don't want the outside world. I feel like if I'm looking at my phone while I'm playing a game, that game's failing to me in a point, because I should be fully engaged. And a lot of Anthem is like, okay, I'm playing the loading screen boss. Let me just pull out Twitter, and then I find I look at the screen. I'm like, oh wait, ooh damn, and I gotta pick up the controller because everybody's behind me, or else I hit another loading screen if I'm too far behind. So like, to me, to fix this game, quote unquote, it works for the most part really fine. To me, the things that they need to improve on, they need to nuke those loading screens. I feel like if they're able to get somewhere like half of the loading screen just donezo, like they can just make it a 30-second instead of like a minute 30-second load screen, I think they got something really good here. And if the one thing that is the most troublesome, bothersome thing to me is the fact that they lock the menu behind a loading screen. If you don't like an ability you have, or you don't like a gun you have to go back to the forge, which means you hit another loading screen, and then to get back into the game, you have to load back in. Whereas Destiny, you can just swap as many weapons as you want. You can even change your abilities, your spec on the fly. So for me, I just don't understand why those things weren't in the game when they even showed them off when it was one of their first trailers. You saw people swapping in and out of things in menus and not hitting loading screens. So I think if you can just nuke the loading screen, figure out the menu, I don't care if the story's bad, because the Destiny storyline isn't that great. The Division storyline, let's be honest, it's not that enthralling. You're there because the action's really fun. And if you could just, shut up and get to the action, I'm into it. And also make me run faster in the Fort Tarsus.
And I think no kidding. I think a lot of the quality of life things, the improvements that we're looking for, we'll see over the next few months. The question is will people stick around? Are gamers going to wait around? Will EA stick around? And those are two, I think, very fair questions, given how we've seen some audiences abandon their game and others stick with their game. And I hope EA doesn't abandon it, because I think Anthem is the start of something wonderful. Some of it needs to be cleaned up. And in truth, I hope this game's around for a number of reasons. Like you and I talked about potential crossovers with other franchises. We'd love to see them get crazy with some stuff. But the other thing I wanted to point out about Anthem is it has the unfortunate or the misfortune of being launched in the wake of Apex, which is very good at being a multiplayer game in which you don't have to communicate with your voice. So, and Anthem would benefit from something like that.
Like a ping system. So let's get right into the first bit of the news. Our first goober is that UK sales charts, Anthem is number 1 despite an underwhelming start. This comes from Push Square, and it reads the following. In spite of some pretty damning analysis, Anthem soared straight to the number 1 spot in UK's weekly retail chart. BioWare's looter shooter released to a rather cold reception, and even though it topped the chart, it appears to have underperformed the developer's last game, Mass Effect Andromeda and sold more than sorry, they said that weird. It sold less than the last game, Mass Effect Andromeda, which sold more than double in its first week, and Destiny managed about 10 times as much within the same time frame. As always, it's important to remember that this chart doesn't take in digital sales to consideration. So with that, we now understand why Kyle reads the news. And secondly, this news, the comparisons, do you think they're fair comparisons?
I think they're appropriate. Fair, I don't know. I mean, it's an online game in a world that is several years removed from when Andromeda, which was more of a single-player game, launched. And Destiny, too. Destiny was the first outing of Bungie post-Microsoft, post-Halo. And so it was always bound to be interesting, and it was a time when physical media was more popular. But I think it's appropriate for news outlets and retailers to bring that up. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's very doom and gloom. I don't think it's this crazy thing. I think that we are living in an era of gaming now where free-to-play games are so accessible and so easy that they tend to chart super high and perhaps skew our vision of what good numbers are. I think we saw that Horizon just hit 10 million. Was it Horizon?
Nice. Yep, Horizon Zero Dawn. We'll talk about that in a sec, yeah.
10 million is just over a third of what Apex Legends got in its first week. Yeah. But it's free to play, and there's other aspects to it. It's exclusive. So, what does it mean to sell anymore versus like the money it takes in? So I'm not sure. Yeah.
And so like a lot of people, because like EA wants this game to sell 6 million units within its first quarter. Do you think it's going to hit that number? I don't think. Looking at the sales projections so far, it doesn't look possible.
I don't think so, and maybe that's an anecdotal thing because we are seeing articles like this. And my good friend and co-host of the Xbox Drive, Sean Capri, he used the EA Access trial. Yeah, that kid, but no, what a great dude. I love him. But he played the 10 hours of EA Access, and he found that, hey, it's not for me, or it is for me, and that brings up whether or not betas or demos or trials are good or bad for games, and I don't have that answer. But I found that more people are not as into it as I would have expected. Yeah. But this game is also skewed towards someone like me who likes sci-fi and likes shooting
and that's
things.
The thing. Like Destiny, I think you have this pedigree of Bungie, and you know them for multiplayer. So when they're making a massive multiplayer game like Destiny, you're already on board because you know the gameplay is going to be great. You know it's going to be tight. You know it's the multiplayer aspect. You don't have to fear because it's Bungie. Whereas Anthem, you have this prestigious, right, developer. BioWare has made some of the best RPGs, Western RPGs ever, right? KOTOR, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, great games. Jade Empire, that's on the Xbox. Luke, have you played it? Of course you're not. You're not even a real fan. But
I don't even know what Jade Empire is. I've seen the box.
Jesus Christ.
If you showed me a screenshot, I wouldn't know what it was.
But like they've made some amazing RPGs. Nonetheless, you don't know them for a shooting. You don't know them well for shooting mechanics, right? Like you're not playing Mass Effect because the third-person shooting is so tight. You know them for the story. So when they're making a multiplayer game, you're like, but I kind of want you to stick to what's good, right? Like what you're good at. This is different. This is maybe a little bit too new to me. So when I see Anthem come out to this poor reception, to me, did Apex hurt the game in terms of, when Destiny got 6s and 7s, people still bought that game, right? Because people are like, yeah, the story's not great, but I'm not here for a great story with Bungie. I'm here for great shooting. Seems like it has that. I'm on board. When it comes to Anthem, you have all these poor reviews on top of the fact that, as I say, they see a 6 or they see a 7, they're already enjoying Apex, and they're just like, I'm going to sit out. Right? Do you think that there are people out there, do you think that Apex hurt this game?
In my gut, I would say yes, but I think they're apples and oranges to a certain extent, but also it would be silly not to acknowledge that many people are talking about Apex.
Yeah. You were talking about it on the Xbox Drive today.
Absolutely.
Right? Where you were talking about the Reddit situation that BioWare had, or not situation, conversation they had with fans where fans wanted a ping system in the game, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Many people are asking for a ping system online, and I think that's my dog.
For one right now.
Yeah, she wants it right now. I'm so sorry. It's that time. It's that time of the evening.
No, don't worry about it.
It is appropriate to note that Apex is out, that it's an EA product, that it hit 25 million so quickly, that it came out 2 weeks before Anthem. Yeah, it does feel very odd and strange. I think what's more telling is that I don't think Division is eating Anthem's lunch by any means, or vice versa. They feel so separate despite being such similar games.
Yeah,
their aesthetics feel so different. I don't think they hurt it. I think what hurt Anthem is Anthem. Those 6s or 7s I think are appropriate when given objectively, and that VIP demo was bad. It didn't work, and it I think scared some people off. I certainly downgraded from Legion of Dawn down to regular.
Yeah.
So I think Anthem hurt Anthem more than anything, but it's by no means as doom and gloom as I think it might seem initially.
All right. Enough Anthem talk. I've had
why
enough.
even bring it up?
I apologize. Let's get to a new topic, a new segment of the show called "My Body's Not Ready for This News." This comes once again from Push Square, and it says the following: PlayStation boss Sean Layden thanks Nintendo's Reggie Fils-Aimé as an industry icon and announces his retirement. Reggie Fils-Aimé, one of the most well-known figures in modern gaming, has announced his retirement. Reggie has been a part of Nintendo since 2003, working his way up to the position of president of Nintendo of America. The SIE Worldwide Studios chairman Sean Layden wrote on Twitter, "Reggie, thanks for all the games and your leadership in the industry. We are a better and brighter place for your wisdom and efforts. With the appreciation and best wishes from all your friends at PlayStation." Man, if you only let us fucking crossplay. Sony, these wise words. And the reason why I bring up Reggie on a PlayStation show is because he definitely changed things for all of gaming. I honestly believe we would not have a Shuhei Yoshida if it was not for Reggie Fils-Aimé. We wouldn't have a Phil Spencer if it wasn't for Reggie Fils-Aimé. We wouldn't have a Kevin Butler if it wasn't for Reggie Fils-Aimé. So I want to just break down the platform barriers as we're doing with this episode right now.
Indeed.
What was your favorite memory of Reggie Fils-Aimé? Not saying he's dead. He's fine. He's retiring. He's being with his family.
Yeah, and he'll be at Google in a year and a half, so don't worry, guys. The truth is, I think Reggie did do a lot. He brought about the Shuheis and the Phil Spencers. He gave human faces in the place of mascots as this generation kind of came to pass. But my favorite memory of him is when he walked out and he said, "I'm Reggie, and I'm about kicking ass and playing games." And he wanted Nintendo to really have a go at Sony and Microsoft and Sega at the time, and he really pushed them into battling for being cool. Nintendo was fun, but it wasn't cool the way that the extreme Xbox and the PlayStation mature audiences with Resident Evil were, and he wanted them to be cool, and he pushed it.
And the cool thing about Reggie is the fact, like, you talk about it, like he wants to broaden the base out to us, and he did it, but he didn't do it in a way of like, I'm being tough and edgy, as we're going to see THQ try to do. He did it in really awesome experimental ways where he's just like, I'm going to record a video with Mega 64, and whatever they want me to do, within reason, I'm going to do it. Right? Like he made himself available for all these fun, dorky, stupid things that he knew hardcore people, hardcore gamers like you and me were going to watch, were going to look at. And that's one of my favorite things about Reggie, is that he is a character in himself, right? They made him a puppet. Like, one of my favorite memories of him, and I know this sounds stupid, but Joe Afterwork, friend of the show, one of the best streamers, no, not one of, he's the best streamer, and not just that, but I'm sorry, Luke, he's the greatest human being I've ever met in my life.
Well, you know. Yeah.
Where is he on the show right now? But like,
where's he at? Did he come through? He come through? Who's here? No, I'm just...
So like, he has this thing where every time he gets raided by another streamer, he fights Reggie, or Reggie shoots like laser beams at him, and then like he'll be like, all right, well now I gotta go play my Nintendo Switch. Just like that's what Reggie means to people, and that's the beauty. So, Reggie, go enjoy your retirement. And with that, you just said he's going to work at Google in a year. You think that's going to be the case?
Yeah, totally.
Totally. You're like, he's too young to retire. He's got this.
Well, not just that. I mean, he's gonna get bored, and there's no scandal. There's no bad news. This dude's going somewhere else at some point.
All right. With that, let's get into another bit of a news segment I would like to call Rumor Has It. Now, rumors happen all the time. But Luke, you're here on the show. I thought, what better way of having a Microsoft-related question or topic on the show with a PlayStation topic? We're merging it into one. This comes from comicbook.com. Microsoft is rumored to be looking at an Xbox Game Pass on PlayStation 4 after the Nintendo Switch, and it reads the following. Following the recent shocking news that Microsoft is looking to take that newfound friendship with Nintendo to the next level, yeah, that's right, they're having sex, by bringing the Xbox Game Pass over to the Nintendo Switch, a new report has risen. Oh, it's risen, all right. Stated that,
my gosh.
You know what? I'm so sorry. Stated that they are also looking to bridge the gap between one major platform, PlayStation. According to Windows Central, you get your hand out of my face, sir. Get your hand out of my face.
I had to wipe my nose. It was embarrassing. I'm real dressed up, by the way, for anyone that's not on the video.
Honest to God, you're more dressed up than you would be on the Xbox Drive. I love it. And you're not eating a cookie? This is great. According to Windows Central, Microsoft is allegedly looking into meddling the two, bringing Xbox Game Pass, a subscription service which has been that has seen massive amounts of success from gamers worldwide, to the PlayStation 4. According to this site, the negotiation has been going on for over a year internally, though it has not seen any fruition yet. This then brings a question from the Discord server. Now, you can write us into questions via @PS Trophy Room on Twitter or the Casa de Bad Bit Discord server. Eric writes in, what I think is the question of the week, and that is, with the rumors of Game Pass coming to both the Switch and possibly PlayStation 4, is it possible that Microsoft is trying to push itself as a software only with their games? And would this move, if true, open up a brand new set of games to play on the PlayStation 4, including Halo, Gears, and maybe Ori in the Blind Forest games? Whew. So what do you think about this? Do you think this is true? Do you want it to be true?
No, I don't want it to be true yet. I don't think you're going to get Halo on your PlayStation 4, but possibly 5. I don't think that's a crazy thing. I think it's totally possible that Xbox is shopping around Game Pass, not just to Nintendo, but to other platforms as well. And I think as well it should, if it's preparing for a battle against Apple or Google. This strikes for me as hey, we want Xbox to become an application that is available on your streaming device, whatever it may be, whether it's via xCloud, whether it's called Game Pass or something else. There is a future in which plastic boxes do no longer need to be labeled PlayStation or Xbox or Switch or Nintendo, whatever it may be. It's going to be a smart TV and its modern equivalent therein, and you'll just open the app. So I do think it's possible they've shopped it around, they've discussed it, they've certainly showed a willingness to play in this generation. Despite selling very well, they're losing, and so that nature of losing has caused them to be more flexible, and because of that, I think it's very possible that you're going to see Ori on your Switch via a streaming service or natively. But then the idea that PlayStation 5 has it, I think absolutely that is a possibility. Yeah. And it's just my account that goes with me, and I'm fine with that. I don't need I don't need anything but my account and the things I've purchased and my achievements to go with me. My ecosystem needs to travel with me. Yeah. The plastic box in which I use is not relevant.
Yeah, so like for me, I want this news because I'm selfish, right? I want this news because I've told you this in confidence. I want to sell my Xbox ASAP. I don't like it. It's just not the hardware for me. You know, I've had horrible luck with it. It's just not my system. All right, there you go. So I'd love, though, I want this system to be gone. I do love some of its games. Fable, what have you done, Microsoft? What have you done? Halo, Gears, some of my favorite franchises of all time. Now I got to find a new pen. Don't worry, I got pens all over the place. I'm dropping them, but I keep on finding them on the desk. I would love to play these games. Thank you, man. Thank you. I would love to play these games on my PlayStation, or on my smart TV, which is another thing that comicbook.com alluded to, is that this Xbox want Xbox to be a platform, and they want it to be in as many places as humanly possible. And so I think I'm with you to the extent where I think it's going to happen, but it's not happening right now because right now that just reads we're waving the white flag. This is it. We've given up, right? To a certain extent.
And no company that has 13 studios and has been buying studios left and right that's going to have 13, theoretically new games or more coming to its service has given up. They've changed strategy.
Yeah. And I think they want to announce this new strategy publicly, and they want to have a foothold of like, this is what it's all about before they start expanding to, let's just say, a smart TV or most importantly, a Sony device. So as much as I want it, because I would love to I would love to play with my DualShock controller against you with your Xbox controller. I just don't see this happening right now.
It's by no means soon do I think it would happen now.
No. But it does excite me because we're on the precipice of something huge happening. And like you said something really interesting where it's just like, a lot of people like complained about like Xbox being in second place. And I'm like, no, this is awesome because when they are down, they are then emboldened to do something crazy. Then they're like, okay, so this didn't work for us. Let's just throw the kitchen sink at it, see what works. And that's why you have things like Gamepass, right? Like that's why I think you're truly seeing things like xCloud. If Xbox was doing fine, they wouldn't have to be pushed into doing something unique. So I really like it.
I often remind listeners of the Xbox Drive of a couple things. One, it is in this generation that Xbox so definitively fell behind that we got games with gold, that Game Pass became a thing, that customized controllers became a thing, that they completely redesigned hardware into 2 iterations, that 4K truly became adopted, true 4K or natively whatever you would decide the Xbox One X does. That happened, but then also that if they're in second or third place depending on your perspective, if that's our Wii U, if that's our Nintendo 64, our GameCube, whatever, we're rocking it. It's doing just fine. This is our PlayStation 3. We're doing just fine. That's a great place to be. PS3 did do pretty well though.
It did make up its ground at the end. Yeah. And that's what I try to tell everybody too at the end of the day is like, this is a PlayStation show, but I do always want people who play on Xbox to feel like I'm not attacking them. Like I'm not trying to like, I'm attacked. I'm attacked. I'm attacked. I'm just, we're a PlayStation focused, but I want everybody to kind of just come in and just go, all right, cool, chill. Right. Yeah. I don't think it's happening yet, but everybody's doing fine. Everybody's making money. That's the most important thing. It's fine. Xbox more profitable than it's ever been. Nintendo printing cash right now. Did you see those dumb looking Pokemon? And everybody's like, "Oh my god, Sword and Shield!" I'm like, really? All right, sure. I'm only kidding.
Standard modus operandi. I don't want Game Pass. It's got old games on it. What's that? Pokemon.
I played that when I was Dude, with real talk, I'm gonna watch that movie.
I'm gonna watch that movie. I'm gonna buy that game. Yeah. Real talk. Let me tell you something. I don't mind playing an older game.
Whew, I know.
What's that? Splatoon 1.5? I loved it. Loved it.
It's the best game on that system. With that, let's get to the next bit of news. This is another rumor has it. Watchdogs 3 supposedly debuting in 2019. This comes from PlayStation Lifestyle. 3 years after the release of Watchdogs 2, it looks like a new entry in the series is supposedly on its way. Not only will it appear to be at the end of 2019. Jesus, Kyle, come back, please. It will also be taking place across the pond. While none of this is confirmed to be true, Watch Dogs 3 would be a big change of pace for the series. Now, they said across the pond, it's going to be, rumor has it, in UK, and you get to choose your protagonists if they want to be male or female, which is dope. And and also it's going to focus on non-lethal engagements instead of like shooting people with guns. You'll probably be tasering them or something like that. Does this news do anything to you? Do you like Watch Dogs? Are you a fan of the series? Are you going to get this game if it is indeed true?
It does do a lot for me. I'm very glad to see it happening because they did need kind of something to fill the gap around Assassin's Creed. And if they are going to go non-lethal with it, that is truly the antithesis of Assassin's Creed. And so I'm very glad to see that. I liked the first Watchdogs a lot. I recently just bought the second Watchdogs. I'm anxious to dive back into it because I had a rough start when I first played it. So I'm glad to have it again, and I am going to go back into it. I'm glad it's seemingly happening. I hope Watchdogs isn't dead, and I'm also glad that Ubisoft is diversifying its portfolio a bit, because without Watchdogs, I mean, there are a lot of what feel like Sammy games, because you have the Tom Clancy Siege, Wildlands, and then you have Starlink and Rabbids, and then Assassin's Creed. So I'm glad to see another franchise hit. I'm sure I'm missing one. Far Cry, goodness.
Far Cry, there you go. Trials Fusion, which just launched. That's in the drop. So yeah, awesome, cool. I'm on board with this. I love the second game. I loved Marcus as a character. I love him so much I remembered his name. That should tell you something. So, I'm on board. This is a day one. If I see this and I could play as a chick, because I do prefer to play as the ladies, just because I like how usually everything looks on them. Not to say, I like the big boobies and the undercut shirts, but, when it comes to, the armor looks better on them. In World of Warcraft, always chose a chick because the shoulder pads didn't look ridiculous. So, And also, I like to see a female kick ass every now and again. So, I
always choose a guy because I want it to be me. That's the only reason I've ever gone with a certain character. I want it to be as close to me as possible.
Yeah, no, we're going to talk about, Aloy in a second, and I love her. She's one of my favorite characters ever. I see myself as Aloy. Sex doesn't, appeal to me one bit when it comes to, connecting with a character. Skin tone, orientation, whatever. I don't care. I could always, if I see a bit of myself, the best part of myself in a character, I'll cling on to it. With that, let's get to the Flash news, and I'm going to write this down before I forget, because we're putting time codes in, and it was at 3147. Remember that. All right. Resident Evil 2 shuffles over 4 million copies sold. This comes from Push Square. Now, Capcom has said that the game has shipped over 4 million units. It's already approaching the lifetime sales of the original Resident Evil 2, which stands at just under 5 million units sold. Congratulations, Capcom. That's in order. Single-player games still sell. So I wanted to put this on here. Personal game of the year for me so far. It's fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah. Are you going to I know you don't have the game yet. Are you planning on picking this game up?
Yes, I am planning on snagging it. Probably going to hit sale soon at some point, so I'm definitely going to snag it then. Okay. I wasn't able to play it for review in time for our content, but I'm glad it's happening, and I'd be curious to see, we were talking about Anthem sales. If Resident Evil 2 is hitting 4, is that success for Capcom, or is it failure? Is it success if Anthem does 4, or is that failure? I'm curious what that means.
That's a huge success, right? Because
I would too.
Look at EA. They wanted 6 million units out of Anthem. We already see, I mean, doesn't mean sold, but they already shipped 4 million of this. Huge. I'm just wondering, where do they take the series next?
That is a great question, because 7 was first person.
Exactly. Do we see a first person, or do we see more of a third person? I don't know.
I'm curious myself.
With that, our next piece of the Flash news: Overwatch gets a new character, the support character Baptiste. This comes from Polygon. It's been over a year since Overwatch received its latest support character, Brigitte, and a few months since BlizzCon we met Ash, the game's newest hero. Blizzard Entertainment has now revealed the next new character coming to the game, Baptiste, a damage-oriented support with a heavy reliance on gadget. Jean-Baptiste Augustin, Baguette, is described as a combat medic who hails from Haiti. And yes, Haiti's French, people. They were a French colony. Indeed. They used to print money for the French government. That's why they kept it so bad. They wanted Haiti so much that they sold the Louisiana Purchase to Thomas Jefferson. Read a book, damn it. Read a book. History's fun. Hails from Haiti. He was an orphan during the Omni Crisis and has joined a military group called the Caribbean Coalition to make the most out of his situation. Looks dope. What are you mouthing?
Just reading. I'm just saying whatever you're saying.
So I just want to give a shout out to Blizzard. They've done such a great job with representation in their video games. It's awesome. We got, my dad's now gay. We got Tracer gay. Awesome. Again, I connect with those characters. They're both awesome. I both see the best parts of myself in those characters. Seeing Baptiste, a person of color, and also a Caribbean, right? Like, you don't see a lot of people, a lot of like heroic characters from like other parts of the globe that isn't like North America or Europe. So
you haven't played Lifeline in Apex?
It's true.
Yeah, I got you on that one. I don't want to do the voice because I'll just mess it up and it'll sound bad.
We can't do that. I need you to keep your job. The Division 2 open beta trailer attempts to get the hype flowing ahead of the launch later this week. This comes from Push Square. Just a heads up, there's an open beta for the Division. It is from March 1st all the way to March 4th. Mm-hmm. Are you going to try this open beta out?
Probably not.
Just not for you?
I would love to check. No, nothing like that. I've just got other stuff I'm enjoying. A couple games for review, and I am loving Anthem. And betas kind of burned me a bit recently, and so I know what Division is. If we get extra codes for review, I'm definitely going to jump into it. If not, I'll probably go back and fill out some backlog stuff when Division launches. But I'm very glad that Division 2 looks to improve everything on Division 1 and that fans can enjoy it. I know my buddy Sean, he loves Division, and so I'm very happy for him.
Awesome. And let me buy time as I'm doing multiple things at once. Horizon Zero Dawn, and this is actually pretty awesome, celebrates its second anniversary by announcing 10 million units sold worldwide. This comes from the PlayStation blog. Please read this article because it shows you so much of the fan work and also the love, the dedication, the hard work of Guerrilla Games Studios to go out there and what it took to make this game. It's an awesome deep dive. Here's just a quick quote. And yet, we are already well over 10 million copies sold worldwide. The idea that we are able to bring Aloy's journey to so many players is astounding. We've been deeply moved by the enormous amount of fan creations you've posted online, as well as the heartfelt letters you've sent sharing your favorite moments from Aloy's journey. And it's awesome. It's an awesome in-depth look at the culture that surrounded the game. Awesome. Congratulations, Guerrilla Games. Seriously, if you guys don't have this game, please buy it. It's the reason why this podcast exists. I love this game so much. Aloy is, said it before, she is one of the best. When I think of like female representations in a video game, Aloy is probably the first thing I think of. Maybe Lohr, the new Lara Croft, but like she's the epitome of like just awesome writing. She's a character I care so deeply about.
She's an awesome character, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I know you didn't jive well with the game, right?
Yeah, I played maybe 6 hours. I liked it, but it didn't click. And I think that's just a matter of timing.
Yeah.
But it's on my shelf. I've never once traded it in. I know at some point in my gaming pantheon, I'm going to go back and get to it. I was always impressed by it.
I would try it again. Because I understand the first like 3 or 4 hours, it is a little rough. I'm going to say that. Mm-hmm. It is. They do hit you with a lot at once. But I'd say give it another chance because the story's so good.
Yeah, no, it was very well made, that's for sure. Goodness gracious.
And then to celebrate Horizon Zero Dawn's second anniversary, PUBG celebrates Horizon Zero Dawn's...
celebration? Is it a celebration?
Second anniversary with skins. This comes from Push Square yet again, stating, starting on the 5th of March through the 5th of April, you'll be able to unlock the following content from Bluehole's popular Battle Royale game. Now, I'm not going to list it all here, but you get a special, the cultist outfit, the Alkalites outfit from Horizon Zero Dawn, you get by unlocking and doing certain tasks in PUBG. And with that, I was going to call you Kyle, Luke. Remember PUBG, Luke?
I try not to, dude. I try not to. All right. In a world where Apex, where Fortnite, where Realm War Royale is so much, where those games can be so much fun, you can jump in and have a more polished experience than PUBG. I don't know what they're doing.
Dude, it's so weird. It's so weird to see how fast this thing's fallen out of touch, like with the gaming community. Because, like, what is it? Like a few months ago, they did a collaboration with Suicide Squad. Right?
They sure did. And at first I was like, oh, cool. I actually like the DC universe. I'm one of the 3.5 people that do. But it speaks to a failure to adapt. Like, why would you do a Suicide Squad piece of content at all in 2018? What are you doing?
Yeah,
That's just an odd choice. And our next two stories reference Fortnite, which is this fast adapting studio, and PUBG and Bluehole shows this extreme, what looks like a lackadaisical attitude towards improving their content base. It's just so strange that PUBG is still existing. I know the PS4 brought it new life, as it typically does when you bring a new system or new platform in, but PUBG is just an odd, surprising case of this game was on the boxes for Xbox and it was on Game of the Year lists, and it was broken, and that's an odd, interesting thing to look back on.
Yeah, and it is interesting. It's also interesting to see that they didn't do any of this. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but they didn't do any of this cool stuff with Xbox, right? They didn't, like, here's a Halo helmet or whatever.
Oh, not much. To my knowledge, there wasn't anything crazy, because the first thing they did, I thought, was Nathan Drake stuff. But I'm sure there's little stuff here and there. But we're talking about, like, major franchise crossover on some level, and I don't remember them doing that. And that's the exact kind of stuff you need to do to keep players engaged, lest your stories no longer become hit this many million players today, so much as loses 8% of its player base or
we're
whatever.
About to talk about this right now, so let's get right into it. Fortnite Season 8 adds a Volcano Party Assist trophy. This comes from, let me just get it right here, the PlayStation blog. Freed from the Ice King's castle, the now powerful prisoner has brought fire and flame to Fortnite and its islands. Ooh, its islands. Okay. Pirates, ninjas, and a shipload of new fighters will tussle over for treasure, battle with pirate cannons, and uncover legendary loot. For those daring to explore, the new Lazy Lagoon and Sunny Steps locations are just a jump away with the help of volcano vents. There's tons of new areas to explore and secrets to uncover in this season. X marks the spot. Seriously, PlayStation? How dare you? And then with this new update, Fortnite Season 8 also adds Apex Legends style pings feature. This also comes from Kotaku. And we were talking a little bit about this before the show, Luke.
Mm-hmm. That's the news right there.
How? Apex
It's almost like they make engines. On the back end. It's like they own and make the engines on a regular basis. Yeah. That Fortnite was able to input a system that is so well enjoyed by Apex players across multiple systems is impressive at their response time, and two, tells you that a well-made engine allows for versatility and fast response. And that's what I think a lot of other games are missing because they're not epic.
Yeah. And I mean, it also goes to show the threat that this game, Apex Legends, does pose to Fortnite, and that they saw this as something people really liked. And not to say that they didn't demand it from Fortnite, but you didn't hear, the clarion call to get this feature into Fortnite. It was just like, this is a cool feature. Mind if we take it like we took this idea and just, bam, it's in their game. It's nuts. And then this news, to top it all off, Fortnite revenue down nearly 50% since December. This comes from comicbook.com again. Jesus, I was really just scrounging for anything, huh? Fortnite has seen some incredible success since the recent release of the Battle Royale version of the game. That said, the massively popular title finished 2018 strong, and the new year has not been as kind. It looks like Fortnite revenue is down nearly 50% since December. So with all these changes, first and foremost, Luke, this is pretty nuts. Down 50% through December. Do you think Apex Legends has anything to do with that? Or do you think this is just people getting tired of the game?
Oh, I think, of course, Apex has something to do with it. When you have a free-to-play title that launches and works, that in and of itself is going to draw players in. Coupled with the fact that it was on multiple systems at one time, absolutely it's digging into its player base. But similarly, to Fortnite's credit, when you're on top for so long, the only place to go is down. And the story is that it's lost. The only story that's being written is that it's down 50%, not still making crap loads of money.
Yeah,
Because
that's that's a title that's going to sell you, right? That's the title that's going to get clicks. A lot of people, like I saw, and it just goes along with this whole theory of like, if one game's doing bad, that means this game's dead. I've seen a lot of memes of like Apex killing Fortnite because Apex is just such a great game. I agree. I love Apex. I, again, stopped playing Fortnite because I love Apex. Like, I don't even, with all these changes, I don't think I'm still going back. I maybe got to try it out for a little bit.
But how much time did you put in? I mean, you played so much, you just probably burned out.
Yeah, that too. Like, I've played enough of it. Like, how much can I play? And it doesn't mean that, like, the game's dead. It's still, you look at Twitch, you look at Mixer, right? Is that what the small?
Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. I love Mixer.
Like, like hundreds of thousands of people are still streaming this game. And it just goes to show. Yeah. You know, it's awesome. It's still doing really well. And also, like, Season 8, yeah, like, Islands. What? Like, I'll dip my toes in the company ink. We'll give it a go.
You'd probably jump in with Bobby here and there, and you'd probably have those kind of matches, but you probably wouldn't be rushing home the way you do with Apex or the next big thing that happens. And that's the ebb and flow. The difference is, as players, we get the luxury of not worrying about that kind of stuff, whereas game makers, they just want to make the most money.
Yeah.
You know, and so or game publishers, I should say. And so there's the story is going to be that it's down 50%, not, hey, second place is awesome. And Tetris 99's eating all their Battle Royale lunch.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody's talking about, Tetris 99 and the domination. Like, dude, Kyle can't get enough of this game. He loves it.
And Kyle's not a competitive player, so I was really glad to hear that he was finding joy in a competitive-ish game. And it also speaks to the idea that you can take something original, or something old, rather, and just apply it in a slightly different genre or different aesthetic, and it works out. And it's funny that Tetris Effect did it, and then Tetris 99 did it, and that's a cool thing, that because Tetris has been around for so long, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You want to know what else is cool?
Can I read the next story?
Yeah, sure.
The PlayStation Plus March 2019 lineup has been announced.
Yeah.
Can I? Yeah. The two games that you are getting, and I said only two, which is odd enough as it may be. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, that's the remastered version. That's hitting PlayStation 4, along with Game of the Year contender The Witness.
Isn't that awesome? It's pretty dope.
It's very awesome, but per our notes, it does seem a little odd because this is our first month without the Vita.
Rip.
Oh, and PlayStation 3, but the Vita.
Moment of silence, please. Just give it the respect it deserves. Okay, we're good.
Oh, I miss my Vita. I had the pearly white Vita. Oh, so good.
Oof. I had just I got it imported from Japan. Like, I bought a guy's Japan PS Vita 2 weeks before it came out here in the States. Dope system.
You think you know joy, but have you played Shovel Knight on an OLED screen? Whew.
That's true. Have you played Gravity Rush? Because it's great.
Gravity Rush is great. How about Killzone Mercenary? That was a fun one.
That was a good one. So good. It was so ahead of its time.
You know what game I liked for the Vita? Unit 13.
Remember 13. That? Yes,
yeah.
I was going to buy that, and then I saw the reviews. Again, it got Anthemed before Anthem was a thing. I was just like, I'm good. So we had games of gold. No, don't worry about it. Yeah. It's fine. Mm-hmm. We had games of gold. Now we have, you have games of gold. All these games get announced this month. What was it? Yeah, Republic Commando, which is one of the best Star Wars games ever made.
From OG Xbox.
Adventure Time?
Yeah, that's a game.
Weird.
Adventure and
what else were there was two other games?
Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
Okay, dope.
Which is the second Konami game in 2 months, which is interesting. Second Star Wars game in 2 months with Republic Commando. And then, Plants vs. Zombies 2 Garden Warfare.
Okay. Now,
Garden Warfare 2.
These two games matched up to the games of gold. What we got here? Who's winning this fight, Luke?
The gamers. Sorry, I don't know. This is 6 of one, half dozen the other. There's hard to quantify that because sometimes you can look at it and say, oh, this is a great month. Very clearly a great month. Yeah. But it's a matter of, do you want is a remastered Call of Duty interesting to you? Because that's the one where the map packs are really expensive. Are you playing that for the old multiplayer, or are you playing it for the story? It's something you played before. The Witness is an extremely good game by all accounts, but it's difficult.
Yeah.
I think it's difficult to lock some people out. there's a value proposition. I don't know which one's better this month. There are times when I strongly am like, yes, this.
Yeah.
I don't know about this one.
I think simply because games with gold have Republic Commando makes it so difficult for me. Like, I'm going home, I'm gonna play Republic Commando. I never do that. Old games are old. Like, I sit here and I tell you, oh, this month's a good month. I never play games of gold or PlayStation Plus games. I just don't.
Oh, you never do, really?
Nah, like I say I do and then I forget.
Interesting. Usually that's the game that I'm like, you know what? I got 30 minutes, and then if I get roped in, I get roped in.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. But I might try The Witness out. I just don't feel like getting a notebook out and just doing homework. You know what I'm saying?
The Witness, you say?
And now we have Luke Lohr. Are you ready? Prepare the drop. Each week, the latest and greatest in games come out on PlayStation, and the list is so long. Let me tell you something. It's way too long to just sit here and go, this game came out, that game came out. So we each pick one game. I put mine down on the notes. I didn't tell Luke before the show that we were doing this segment, so I bet he's looking at it right now. And
you're darn right I am.
My pick for the week of February 26th is Toe Jam and Earl back in the groove. The iconic 90s duo is back in the groove with all new presents, to help them navigate the whack planet Earth and retrieve the lost pieces to what the hell is this? Master Rocket team up with co-op play to discover secret locations, hidden presents, and new friends. Okay, obviously I just read that description for the first time. I hear so much.
Master Rocket.
Master Rocket, I'm sorry. I've heard so much about these games, like back in the day, right? Where I think these were on the Genesis, I believe, and like SNES.
I think so, yeah.
So I hear so much about them. I've never played these games, so I'm excited to get into this game and try it out for the first time. Is this a way for a sale? Absolutely, because I've never played these games before. And I'm a student, guys. I'm a full-time student. I can't just spend my nickels and dimes willy-nilly. Do you got a game, Luke?
Yeah, no, I looked at it. There are actually quite a few good ones in there that I think a lot of people would know. But the one that I suppose am most keen to recommend is probably one that might surprise you. It's Dirt Rally 2. Because what intrigues me about this is it's a dirt rally game, so there's a niche interest there. But amidst Crackdown and Far Cry New Dawn and Anthem and this crowded window and Metro Exodus, Dirt Rally 2 is landing above all of them critically, and I find that just interesting and funny in a game knowing what it needs to be to appease its audience. That's kind of neat, but there's some other good ones in that drop.
So with that, go over the PlayStation blog, check out the drop, or go to your PlayStation, turn it on, see what's in store. Have yourself an adventure, because this new segment, our last segment of the show, that's right, I didn't sneak into Andy House's snail mail this week. It was a moment of truth. I did sign that decree after all. We got to give Andy a break every now and again. And with that, shout out to Mark. Whoever you are out
Mark, holding it down.
Dude. THQ held a Q&A on a website banned for suspected child pornography. Yes, you've heard all those words. They came out of my mouth, and I never thought that they would come out of my mouth on the show. I would have to be reading about this, but here we are, 2019. Let's get on this roller coaster ride, Luke. Let's go. Strap in. THQ. This comes from Waypoint, by the way. Terrific article. Give them a click. THQ Nordic, a publisher largely known for the past few years as a company who announces the acquisition of the rights of new games every few days, hosted a Q&A today on 8chan. The same 8chan that's been involved in incidents regarding child pornography, swatting, Gamergate, and more. 4chan itself is already notorious for being a haven of racist, sexist, and otherwise inflammatory rhetoric. But 8chan was created out of the belief that 4chan itself was too limited. 8chan has been notorious, early on for being a gathering place for hate group like Gamergate, was found to be hosting child pornography at various points, and was eventually blacklisted from coming up on Google searches because it contained suspicious child abuse content. In other words, it's an absolute hellscape, even by the internet standards. And this is where THQ Nordic decided to hold a Q&A. And here are the tweets. It goes as follows. The first tweet, we're doing a 8chan AMA, and we have no idea why. Come join us. The second tweet, when people ask why 8chan and why not just a regular place like Reddit or Facebook Live or even Twitter or Tumblr for that matter. Just anywhere. Just Twitch. They say this. The opportunity was here and we took it. We got approached in a very friendly and polite manner, and we're assured said person, shout out to Mark, will take care of the nasty stuff. So here we are. Insert SpongeBob voice. A few hours later, they apologize. Or the person apologized. In his first tweet, the Philip Brock, PR managing director of THQ Nordic, tweeted the following. I personally agreed to this AMA without doing proper due diligence to understand the history and controversy with this site. I do not condone child pornography, white supremacy, or racism in any way, shape, or form. The next tweet. I'm terribly sorry for my short-sightedness of my decision and promise to be far more vigorous in my assessment of these activities in the future. And then last tweet. This was not about being edgy. This blew up, and I very much regret having done it in the first place. Philip Brock, PR Managing Director, THQ Nordic, Vienna, Austria. Luke, I just said a lot of words, so I'll start with this. How? Was this your first time hearing 8chan? Of this site existing?
Yes. Yeah, I was... stunned, I suppose. I think I thought they were hacked, probably like quite a few people did. It certainly seems to be one of the most unforced errors we've seen a company make, and it's so odd because THQ Nordic, when they came onto the scene a few years ago, everyone was like, well, what are you doing buying up old franchises? And then suddenly they're making money, and this strikes me as likely to cost quite a few people jobs or contracts or potential new franchises. And the business side of this is where I was kind of focusing my thoughts, because the other side of it just kind of bothers me too much.
I'm sorry, because this question, I stole it from the most famous Seamus I know. He writes in, what was your reaction to THQ's decision to host an AMA on 8chan? I'm sorry, I need to give credit where credit's due. Continue, sir.
I didn't know what 8chan was.
Yeah.
So it took Patrick Klepek and a few other true games journalists to kind of point it out to me, and then I was just more stunned, I suppose, than anything. It seems, again, as I said, an unforced error that likely is going to hurt people that had nothing to do with that decision, both game makers and people that work in various accounts of publishing. There's more, I suppose, news that Patrick Klepek and several other journalists are reporting on that might shed more light on this, and stuff that I don't think I'm well versed enough to talk about with it. But it was certainly disturbing when you kind of find out the details there. And there's no doubt about that. I don't think any rational mind would agree that they were okay, or they're okay with that idea. Yeah. There's probably more to it that I don't know, and frankly, I don't know that I want to.
Yeah. So my legitimate reaction, and I'll go through the play-by-play for you, Famous. Was confused because I was like, is 8chan another part of 4chan, right? And then I approached you. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And you gave me the summary of what it is, and I'm just like, why? And then I think to myself, okay, well, maybe people are just overreacting. Maybe this isn't that bad. So I clicked the link to the AMA, and
you made a list,
and I made a list. You're definitely right. I felt immediately the FBI was watching me and I needed an explanation. I was like, you just listen, I'll go to Congress, I'll testify, okay? I'll talk about all the collusion you want. Just get me out of here. I didn't even make it a scroll. I was seeing people praising Adolf Hitler. I was seeing very lewd images, just to say the least. And then I made it to one of the characters that had this anime girl as their avatar. I think avatar. I don't know. And like usually anime girls, man, you don't know their age, and that's very concerning. This one, you definitely knew it was a child, and they were definitely wearing something that just grossed me out, and I exited out. And then I see all these pictures of like other examples that people got from that AMA, and you could just definitely see that Mark did not do his job. The nasty stuff not there, like it's there, right? You're seeing them try to answer these questions of like, and they don't know how to respond to them. You just sense the awkwardness in the air. And to me, or my question to you rather, do you think they knew what this site was? Do you think this was an oversight by a PR person thinking, hey, we can be edgy if we're on this more edgy site? Like, why not just do a Reddit post, right? So, like, do you think this was just an oversight, a mistake? Or do you think that they knew what they were doing? Not saying that they were promoting this, but they wanted to do it to seem like they were edgy.
I truly don't know, because there are signs that could easily lend themselves towards either side of that argument. I think it's definitely a mistake in that, like, they screwed up, and this is certainly going to hurt their business and their confidence with tuned in player bases. I mean, I would imagine, like many stories, it does blow over to the mainstream kind of forgets about it as the next big thing to be angry about comes about. But as far as whether or not it was a direct mistake, I truly don't know. I would imagine some investigative journalism happens from some of the more qualified, and I'm curious to see that stuff, but I would just as soon try and look past and forget it, because it is such a disturbing thought. And I say forget it with a relative sense of like caution as a consumer.
Yeah. For me, it's just really gross. I think, I don't know if you know this, Luke, but I'm studying to be a PR major. And yeah.
Can I tell you what you shouldn't do, buddy?
What's that?
You shouldn't host an AMA without vetting the source. Exactly.
And like that is such a big thing with my area is you're always vetting. Like you're before you do anything, like a lot of people don't know this, like you're working on Christmas stuff in July. Like that's how far ahead you're supposed to be. In terms of like getting the word out for certain things, you're always working months in advance for certain things. And to see this thing happen and just knowing the amount of research you have to do in order to, like, you have to understand social media to an insane degree to just get your foot in the door at a PR place. So for me, I think just knowing the area that I'm in, they knew exactly what this site was. I don't know if they knew to the insane degree of what it's really just fucking disgusting, of what the site entailed. Because again, like I didn't know, but again, I'm not also a multi-million-dollar company with an agency of interns. I could have just, again, where the fuck is Mark? Don't see him. I don't think you run this huge agency without knowing the different types of social media traffic that you can get. And when when Philip says, again, in that second tweet, we had an opportunity, we took it, we got approached in a very friendly manner, and assured said person, shout out to Mark, can't say, seriously, we'll take care of the nasty stuff. We'll take care of the nasty stuff. We'll take care of the nasty stuff. We'll take care of the fucking nasty stuff. They knew exactly what site they were going to. Because you don't say that if you're talking about Reddit. You don't say that if you're talking about Facebook or Twitter, right? You know that people are going to say stupid shit. Like, I know, like, a YouTube comment here is going to call me fat, stupid, and ugly, and you're right, check, check, check. Like, I know there's going to be a dumb idiot every now and again, but those sites they don't have the reputation of, hey, white supremacists go here. Hey, this place has been blacklisted by Google because of X, Y, and Z. And so, like, for me, as an educated consumer, and maybe I'm just acting in the moment, but like this makes me never want to purchase a THQ game.
Really?
It
really,
because the reaction to this has been Philip still has a job. And I know like we were talking about this like a few hours ago, or yesterday rather, of like, man, it would suck to be in his position right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like, yeah, you're feeling the heat. But I think we say that because if we were in his position, but at the same exact time, if we were in his position, this would have never happened. Right?
Yeah, yes, I would think so. And that's why I'm so hesitant to. I don't know definitively what went on. And my hope is that as we learn more information about whatever it is, those people who have nothing to do with this poor choice, I hope that their well-being through making games or working in the publishing side that maybe had nothing to do with this, I hope they are not impacted too heavily. That said, there are consequences to poor decisions, and this might have grave ones, or it might blow over until people are mad about the next thing. And I'm unsure as to where it's going to go because I've not looked into it today after learning about it yesterday. And again, I hope that the right people are paying attention. I don't want to focus on that when I look at video games, and it's a shame we have to talk about it in a gaming sense, you know?
And that's the thing, like, from what I've heard, the person in charge, I think his last name's Lars. I forget who the CEO of THQ Nordic is, but he was just like, yeah, he issued his apology. And it was kind of just like cavalier about it. It was just like, whatever. And I'm like, is that how you take that? Like, because to me, if like he dropped the F-bomb, like, yeah, like he issued his apology, but it's like, this is like children are involved, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And when you oversee a company like that, that's why to me it's just like, I feel disgusting just supporting that, just saying, here's my money, just take it. I don't care what you did. And to me, like, I'm a dumb idiot, and I didn't know what 8chan was. Now I do today, and I think of myself as a good human being, right? I think of this as promoting this site that thousands of people would not have known existed until today. And some of those people out of the thousands that learned about 8chan are not decent people. Right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I can't echo my disgust with THQ with doing this. Because now some disgusting human being has a platform to do whatever it seems. And that's why I just don't feel comfortable. I don't know.
Give it time, and I would never forgive the transgression, but hopefully we learned something that allows us to find a way to enjoy those games again. You know, hopefully there's more information that comes to light later.
Right? It's not the developer's fault, and so that's
theoretically correct.
Yeah, it's just like, but at the same time, it's just, dude, like, you know, it's just, dude,
unforced error for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
With that, I don't want to focus on this too much at this point. I thought it's important because, you know, Famous Seamus a few weeks ago gave us that awesome question, and sometimes there are things that are bigger than PlayStation that we should address, and that's why I wanted to address it on the show. But we don't have any viewer mail at the end of this, so everybody who sent their viewer mail, thank you so much. I do have one announcement. One, you made it this far, viewer. There's one more thing you need to do. There is a game coming out called Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Luke, have you ever heard of it?
I have, and I got to tell you, you've been selling me on being interested in it. It's becoming more a Luke game the more you talk about it.
Oh, it's going to be so cool, and I'm so excited for it. And for one of Fiona's questions, because we were talking about it last night, real talk for you guys. We recorded this episode last night, me and Kyle. I screwed up, and I put the wrong microphone. It sounded awful, so that's why we're doing this all over again. Luke couldn't make it. Luke came in because Luke's amazing. And so with that, I was talking about with Kyle. I want to do something really cool. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is coming out at the end of March. I believe March 20th, or 26th.
Yeah, sounds right. Yeah,
around there. So. To celebrate Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, because I love... Where's my Bloodborne guy? Oh, right there. Because I love Bloodborne so much. We're going to do a giveaway, a Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. And to do it is rather simple. All you have to do is follow PS Trophy Room, and then there's going to be a pinned tweet. You like and you share that pinned tweet, And then I'm gonna say let's get the you know what? Next time I'd be more prepared for this stuff, you know? Mm-hmm. Maybe before I just say, hey, we're gonna announce something huge.
Here's the thing, guys. You got to like, you got to subscribe, you got to share. But really and truly, I want you to share the trophy room with other people that you think would like this show, people that would enjoy just the discussion of games, engage us on Twitter, and all in all, just have a good time. I vamped. Here you go, Sean. You're not Sean. You're Joe.
So here's what you do. You like, you share, you follow the trophy room on Twitter, PS Trophy Room, and then we will announce the winner on Thursday. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
Are you sure? Thursday, the 21st, the day before the game comes out. So March 21st.
Because it comes out on the 22nd. Don't say the 28th unless you catch these hands.
Oh, so that's all you need to do. Again, follow us, PS Trophy Room, retweet the pin tweet, like the pin tweet. And if you already follow us and you already do that, if you could, it means a lot to me because we put a lot of hard work in the show. I know, right? In the last 5 minutes to improve that. But we pour a lot of hard work into it. If you could rate us 5 stars on iTunes, share that with us on Twitter. It means a lot to us, and you get another entry into the giveaway. If you've already done a review, all you need to do is tweet us your review. Take a picture of it, send it to us on Twitter, and you get entered in again. That's all you got to do. It's simple. It's easy. So with all that said, Luke, you got anything to plug before we go?
Dear listener, if you enjoyed me having on, and thank you, Kyle, for letting me step into your role, you can find me on the Xbox Drive, which is a podcast I do with my good friend Sean Capri, kind of a sister podcast to Trophy Room. And then if anybody wouldn't mind checking out my Twitter feed, I post a new video every week, just a 2-minute review of a game I'm playing. I played Anthem recently. Check that one out. Thanks.
Ooh, awesome.
Twitter.com/MLS Reserves.
There you go. Mixer.com/InsipidGhost. Again, the Xbox Drive on iTunes. Anywhere you could get an RSS feed, you could get a podcast, you could have that show. You could put it in your pocket. It's in Pocket Cast, probably. And just like you can with this show as well, please rate us 5 stars. iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, SoundCloud, wherever there's an RSS feed, you could get us there. Man, we're even on Spotify. So with all that said, with all that out of the way, keep hunting and keep playing PlayStation. You usually wave out.